Shalom and good day all. This is Healing29 back again for manga I have recently read through. And as you can see here, I've probably read just a little over 20 plus manga here between October into November and maybe a little bit of September as well. So September, October, November. I'll just set it for October to November on the thumbnail. So first things first, let's have a bit of a look through the series that I've been reading. And first we have Labius, volumes 5 to 10. And I must admit, this series has been really interesting. Set in, it feels like the Victorian era. The setting feels more like the Victorian era. But in this era, you've got like mechanical martial arts. You also get to meet like a whole list of characters from Levius Cromwell to some of his villains within the series. There is also something that happens like in relation to him seeing his father, but that happened in some of the earlier volumes. This sort of like continues the journey of Levius Cromwell, plus some of the things with his uncle, and also people that sort of like make up his story. Now, for Labius, there is an anime set on a series, but it's more sort of like more boxing centered than more mechanical martial arts. So, in other words, a mechanical version of mixed martial arts. It would be nice to see him reboot the series and do the series sort of like more in line with the manga, but also still keep the series that they've got, because I think that series is like one way to get people maybe interested in the character and also check out the series, because that's what it did with me. I checked out the anime first. I was a little bit unsure with checking out the series, but after watching through the anime, I did decide to pick up the manga. Learning that the manga is so much different from the anime, I still enjoy both mediums. For this, I give Labius volumes 5 to 10 an 8.5 out of 10. Next, we have the Jujutsu Kaisen official character guide. Oh my goodness, I really enjoyed reading this, and I must also pick up some other Jujutsu Kaisen things, especially in relation to the animated series. I do believe that they did bring out something in relation to the first season as well as the movie. So whenever I can get a hold of that, get a hold of it. But as for this character guide, it was really nice to read through it, to meet all of the characters that make up the series. Yes, I understand that there are some people who are not impressed with how the series has ended. Personally, I think it would probably be better for Gege maybe to do something what the writer of Dr. Stone did. And that was sort of like stop at a certain point in the story so that they can come back and continue the story at a later date. And whilst in between that, they can like work on other smaller projects before they return back to the main series. But I did enjoy reading this character guide, an 8.5 for the character guide. Moving into the next thing that I've been reading, and that is To Your Eternity. This basically follows, I guess, an organism that came from space, which you also learned that this organism that came from space has the ability to sort of like take on shapes. So in a way, it becomes like a bit of a shapeshifter of sorts. And in the first part, you learn that the character or this organism takes on the characteristic of like some things throughout history until they eventually like become a person's dog, and also with this dog also helps like some of the characters in the story. I've not read as far as, say, volume 19 and that, but I would actually like to pick up some more volumes. And of the first two volumes, I'd like to give it a 7.5 out of 10. So, really enjoyed that. So moving into the next one, and that is Windbreaker. If you're not picking up Windbreaker, I suggest you do, because this series, I feel like I remember the characters way better than the characters of Tokyo Revengers. If anything, I think this is Tokyo Revengers better done. Just only one thing it doesn't have is some stupid go back in the past ability. That's the only thing. And I'd really like to see Windbreaker. I'd personally like to see Windbreaker succeed Tokyo Revengers. Even though Tokyo Revengers is already finished. And I'm still reading through volumes of Tokyo Revengers. The thing is with Tokyo Revengers, I haven't found myself liking many characters. Yeah, you have the main character, Takamichi, but that's all you're sort of left with. But also some of the characters that they introduce, and it feels like you don't really get to know the characters. Even though they are given a bit of time on screen, you only get to sort of like find a few characters that might be your favorite. You might be lucky to find two that might be your favorite. In relation to Windbreaker, I feel like I want to get to know the whole cast of characters. And that's the difference between Windbreaker and Tokyo Revengers. With Windbreaker, I get the time to get to know the cast of characters, where with Tokyo Revengers, you're stuck in the loop with one character. The main character that... I hope Astro Royale fixes the mistakes of Tokyo Revengers. But I am looking forward to picking up Volume 8, which will be probably coming out next month. So for Windbreaker, Volume 6 and Volume 7, I give an 8.5 out of 10. Now, if you want something that absolutely respects Osamu Tezuka, I advise you pick up this Team Phoenix series through Udon. All volumes 1 to 5. I really enjoyed the story here. And what the premise of the story is, it almost feels like, what if all these universes, like connected to Osamu Tezuka's characters, clashed, but also combined together, creating a team which involves Superboy, Blackjack, one of the princesses, and a whole list more. Of course, we get to see the character of Uran, and they've got this job to try to save what's happening in their universe, or there's something happening to which they have to save their universe. Fantastic job. I love all of the covers. Apparently there are also some variant covers to this, which you can only get through Barnes & Noble. But these are the covers that I got mainly through my LCS, and I really enjoyed the story. For this, an 8.5 out of 10, as I enjoyed this series more than Atom the Beginning. There is another one that I will probably be reading a little bit later on. It's a little bit smaller though. I think I'll just use this time to show you what the series is. And it's called Tezukumi. It's a little bit smaller in size, so it's going to be read with some of my other smaller manga. And I'm really looking forward to reading that, as it too is also done in a way to sort of respect the story and the characters of Osamu Tezuka, including Astro Boy. So returning back to Team Phoenix, an 8.5 out of 10. Next is Insomniacs After School. I must admit, yes, even though this does focus on people who have trouble sleeping and whatever else, it does, yes, focus on people who are insomniacs. But whilst they're insomniacs, they help, you get to see this story develop a very organic relationship between like the main characters within the story. to which they do eventually come to the point of where they decide to become girlfriend and boyfriend. Really well done. For this, also an 8.5 out of 10 from me, and that's covering volumes 1 to 7. I am definitely looking forward to volume 8. Next we have Trojan X. Of course, this is done by the creator of Tokyo Ghoul and Tokyo Ghoul RE. With this story, you get to learn more about the main character, but also some of the present things that are happening within the world. And whilst we get to see what's happening in the world, we do get a little bit of focus on some of the other characters for this particular volume. But for this, I am going to give it just a 7 out of 10. And last but not least, moving on to Hira Yasumi. And this focuses on 2 characters. One is the character of Hiroto, and the other is Natsumi. I must admit, these characters feel more like cousins than sort of like best friends. Just the way the story's written. And of these first 2 volumes, I have actually liked what I've read. Yes, it's set in a slice of life type story. I feel the first volume sort of centers a lot on the character of Hiroto, where this second volume, as I've been reading through it, it actually focuses on the character of Natsumi. And we get to see like flashbacks between past and present and where they are now. And it's really quite interesting. For this, I give an 8 out of 10. Well, until then, let's keep it colourful and have yourself an awesome day.